Well, I just wanted to do a little bit of a follow-up on the Frankenstein here again. Hadn't really done anything, looks-wise to it since last time, which was just the foil and the knob here. But I did go ahead and take this to my guitar tech guy that I've been using for 25 years. And I brought it into him, and I didn't tell him anything about what it was, as far as, price or where it came from or anything. And he started looking at it, and he was pretty impressed by, just what it was looking like and feeling like overall. But he was kind of wondering a little bit about like why I was questioning frets or the setup a little bit, because if it would have been something that was a couple thousand, probably would have been maybe a little bit better set up. But so anyway, I took it in and he started looking at it and basically said, neck's in good shape. The truss rod does work in this. I know I've heard a couple people say that they had one either fall out or it was loose, which I guess given the fact that these are heel mounted here, if there's no tension on it, it's possible it could slide out if there's no tension on it, if it's not glued in real well. Not the end of the world though, I guess, but it's good that it didn't, that it didn't happen. But at any rate, so really the biggest issue that I ended up having with this that needed set up was really just in the nut end here, really. Started looking at it and taking some measurements and was like, really, the thing is that it was making it feel a little harder to play, and the action was high even after having tried to lower the bridge down a little, was just the fact that this metal nut was just a little too high. There is a slight shim under that. I don't know if you can see it or not there too well, but there is like a little bit of a piece of wood under that. But as opposed to actually trying to take that out, because it was glued down, he ended up just taking the nut itself and literally just putting on a belt, stationary belt sander, and just zip, ground it down just a little bit. Not much to be able to look at there. I didn't take a before picture because I didn't know that was going to happen, but but he buzzed that down just a little bit, remounted it back up on there, took a look, down the neck like this, and it was already pretty darn flat as was. If anything, he added just a tad bit of relief to it. And then from there, just went ahead and adjusted the posts ever so slightly, went in and intonated the three strings that really needed it. Other than that, that's it. My guy has looked at every guitar that I've planned on keeping for the last 25 years. He's a luthier that has done work on thousands and thousands of guitars, and had actually done work for a museum / shop that used to sell high-end vintage gear. That's how I found out about him. He ended up being at a place where they had this great place where you could go check out stuff sometimes you only see in magazines or books, and they said, I got a guy upstairs that does setups for me and all my work. And I ended up talking to him, and I was like, hey, do you do stuff for regular people? And he was like, yeah, sure thing, no problem. So I ended up taking my stuff to him ever since, and literally in about 35-40 minutes, he had everything back together, new strings on and everything. Set me back $50, a setup. He did end up tamping down a couple frets, I think just a little bit on the bass side on the 5th and the 12th. He just tapped them down a little bit, reseated them. But other than that, most of it was just the nut was a little bit too high and the intonation was off. But between all three of those things, you get it lowered down a little bit. It's great. As it sits right here, the action on this, let me double check it again here, but it's actually pretty darn good. As far as the 64ths, measure it down here at the 12th fret, it's just right at 4/64ths, or measured the other way, it's basically 6 thousandths, or excuse me, hundreds. But yeah, that's where the action's at on both sides. The pickup's still a little bit on the low side. I mean, it's definitely got a little closer because the action's come down, but it's measuring in here at basically, yeah, quarter, looks like about a 1/4 inch roughly. Yeah, so that could be improved maybe a little bit, but even at the height that it is, the output's still plenty high, so I'm not really too concerned with that. But yeah, if I want to put, you know, a shim or something under that, or maybe build it up a little, not a big deal. I may do that in the future. We'll see. But at any rate, yeah, I just wanted to, you know, kind of throw it out there that, like I said, this guy's worked on tons and tons of guitars, you know, worth up to 20 grand or so. And at the end of the day, he was looking at this and he was like, "Wow, how much did you pay for this?" And I was like, "Less than 200 shipped to me." And he was like, "Wow, this is really impressive." I mean, just the roasted neck alone that he was talking about, you could pay somewhere between, you know, $300 and $500 just for the neck alone. And he said that this was a really good neck. So, you know, all that being said, I mean, looking at just everything else and all the parts of it, you know, he was like, "Yeah, this definitely doesn't feel like a guitar that was, you know, a couple $100. You know, I mean, it's well up in value as far as like what his opinion was. I mean, yeah, it needed a little bit of a setup, but I mean, if it takes you less than an hour to do all the little tweaks to this that was necessary to make it an awesome player, that's amazing. For what it was worth, also, he did confirm that, you know, this is a steel nut. He said he's actually seen them before where they were aluminum, because he's sanded a few down and they zip down a lot quicker than this one did. You know, as far as the Floyd, he really didn't know. His opinion was that this was probably still a knockoff of a Floyd 2. I know I've heard some people say they thought that these may be real ones, just new old stocks that have been sitting around. He thought, just based on kind of the fine-tuning setup down here, that this was probably just a knockoff, you know, $30, $40 thing if you were to buy it separate, but, you know, still decent. Also, he said that tuners were, you know, quite decent as well for non-locking tuners. The only thing he's really seemed to note is that he said it seemed like, you know, when tightening this down, you might want to be a little careful because, you know, if you tried to over tighten this, you possibly could strip it even though it was steel. But, you know, that's something I'm aware of too. So, but anyway, so I just wanted to kind of follow up on that and, you know, tell you what my guy had to say about it after doing the setup and going through it. But other than that, that's it, guys. I mean, if you're on the fence with them, I mean, barring any kind of like really crazy twisted neck scenario or something really flat out being broken, they're definitely a really solid platform just to use as is or mod to your heart's content, whichever. Anyway, if you happen to like the video, man, just give me a thumbs up. Appreciate it. Have a good one.